All right, so we got a new anti-Trump ad that was dropped by the Biden team, and let's go ahead and take a look at it, and then we'll give it a little grade ski. We'll see what we think. We'll see how effective we think it'll be and if they're on message. Let's get it.
In the courtroom, we see Donald Trump for who he is. He's been convicted of 34 felonies, found liable for sexual assault, and he committed financial fraud. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's been working, lowering healthcare costs and making big corporations pay their fair share. This election is between a convicted criminal who's only out for himself and a president who's fighting for your family.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Not gonna lie, that's actually pretty solid as far as an ad goes. That is pretty solid. I'm curious, and post it in the comment section if you know, was this done by like a Biden-affiliated PAC or something, or was it actually their campaign? My guess is it's not directly from them, because it actually seems like pretty good, and they usually suck at stuff like this, so I'm curious exactly where it came from, but look, man, that's a solid ad. That's a solid ad. And we all know what Biden's biggest weakness is at this point. It's not a mystery. Everybody's aware of it. It's clearly Gaza and Israel. He basically has totally lost Arab Americans and Muslim Americans. They're gone. His numbers have dropped with Black Americans and Hispanic Americans. And perhaps most importantly, the demographic of young people, which is crucial for Democrats to win. Young people are fleeing, and they may either stay home or vote for a third-party candidate, and some, albeit not that much, have flipped to Trump, right? So we know what his weakness is. And the real answer is to just totally change the policy vis-a-vis Israel, cut off their money, cut off their weapons, sanction them at the UN, like really address the concerns of young people who look at all the carnage in Gaza and say, this is insane, we're arming it, we're funding it. But it looks like the strategy that they're probably going to go with is just to stay the course on Israel, hope people forget about the monstrous and barbaric and savage things that they're doing, and just try to make it seem like a normal election, right? So you saw a lot of, not only is he calling Trump a convicted criminal, which, fair, totally true, bringing up all of his legal problems, fair, totally true, but he's also bringing up like economic stuff. Hey, we made corporations pay their fair share. We lowered drug prices. By the way, it's not exactly accurate. The corporations paying their fair share thing is more true. They have a corporate minimum tax rate of 15%, so they can't pay any less than 15% corporate tax, which is definitely a good thing. That was part of, what was it called again? Fuck, I forgot the bill. Inflation Reduction Act. I think that was part of that. But the lowering drug prices, that's like, it literally applies to like 4 or 5 drugs. And this was the negotiations where we need to lower drug prices, and then Big Pharma whittled down the politicians to, you can lower like 4 or 5 of them, and for the first like year or two, it's only going to be 1. That's what they whittled them down to. So it's really weak, right? That is super weak. But it gives them the talking point that they want. So if I was going to change this in any way, I think what I would have added is I would have highlighted that under Trump, we lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs, and under Biden, we gained like 700,000 or 800,000. I would get the exact numbers, and I'd put that in there. Like, we lost this many under him, we gained this many under Biden, like that, spike the football type stuff. Because, look, outside of that, from just a raw, pure politics perspective, you're a normie voter who's kind of apolitical and doesn't really follow this stuff. If you see this, yeah, I mean, I think this is good for independents. I think it's good for moderates. I think it's a pretty fucking solid ad. And recently, they haven't been doing good at all. But I like this strategy of the leaning into the, and it works because Fox News was yelping and whining and moaning about it and acting like it was a problem, is if you lean into, convicted criminal. Because I do think there's a default, sort of respect for authority in this country thing. The police are the highest rated when you look at the polls of any institution in this country. And so I think people think of the police and judges, despite all of their flaws, people just have a default like, we trust it, we respect it. And so the fact that he was found guilty, I think that matters. And so it's going to be a race that comes down to, hey, is Biden just too fucking old, right? Is he just too old and people just can't do it? Does Gaza go too far, our policy towards Israel? Or do you want the convicted criminal who also is the default interpretation of the public is that Trump is extreme? He's extreme. He helped get Roe versus Wade overturned. He still denies the 2020 election and is already laying the groundwork to deny the next one. So, I mean, it's a real race to the bottom if I've ever seen it. But again, to get back to the main point here, the ad I think was actually pretty solid to my surprise. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.